Hello, I'm Mona, and today we have with us singer-actor Ipsitaa. Welcome to the Tribune, Ipsitaa.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Your latest track, Burn It Down, brings out the gender inequality. We want to know the journey of it.
Yes, absolutely. So this was my first song in which I'm trying to convey a social message. This is something that's really personal to me, but also collective to our society and what we face as women, no matter what industry or type of job we're in. But I still feel that we are a part of the population that are very privileged. So this is an attempt to give a voice to the people who are gone silent, whose stories we never hear, the women who are carrying their families and the entire world on their backs, the women who are suffering worldwide, especially in conflict-ridden areas, the women that we don't hear from. And it was a little bit of a risk because so far I've released happy songs and, I'm seen as a youngster releasing quirky, fun music. So this was a little bit of a different, bolder statement, but I do think that it's a responsibility on most artists and one that I'm very happy to bear, even if it's risky, to talk about these taboo topics. Because as a woman, if I don't, then who will?
दुनिया तो पुरानी है, मेरी नई कहानी है, मेरे तौर तरीके तेवर देख के सबको हैरानी है.
And what made you pursue the field of singing and acting?
It honestly came about unplanned. It was never something I even dreamt of. I remember once when I was a kid around 8 years old, my mom once asked me, what do you want to be in front of some guest? And I said actor. And I think I was just excited by a play I was doing in school. So I'd give all credit to my parents because my mom enrolled me in Kathak classes when I was 5 years old. Apparently I started singing before I could talk. I have an older brother, so the two of us just grew up singing on stage and taking classes in Indian classical for a while, and then I transitioned to Western classical. But we were always conditioned in a way that these were hobbies. I come from a very academic and nerdy background. My dad is in the civil service and my mom's a gynecologist, so it was never really an option to pursue the arts professionally. And both my brother and I were good at academics, so we just used to do this as extracurriculars. And then when I was in college, I was in a play where we had MFA candidates, Master of Fine Arts students who were professional actors pursuing an acting degree to go into Hollywood. And they put it in my head. They were like, Ipsitaa, why are you double majoring in economics and psychology? You should be double majoring in music and film. And when they said that, I just took it more seriously than ever before because I was like, oh, okay. They see that in me, and perhaps there is a possibility of doing this now that I was surrounded by people who were doing it professionally. And then I think that encouraged me to start at least posting covers online, mashups of just Hindi and English songs, and just putting myself out on social media. And that changed everything because that's how I got my first song. And it took me 4 years to still decide to quit my behavioral science job and passion, because that was my first love, and to come into this full time. It's only been a year and a half now that I've done this full time, but it's been an incredibly rewarding journey.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your Chandigarh days. How is Chandigarh growing up, and how often do you keep in touch with the city?
It was amazing. I was born in Panchkula and my parents lived in Chandigarh. But as I mentioned, because my dad was in the civil service, he would get transferred every 2 to 3 years. So I think the longest stint we had as a family was in Chandigarh. I went to Sacred Heart School and my brother was in St. John's. So we used to ride together, and it was very interesting because although there's only a wall separating the two schools, it's different worlds altogether. Sacred Heart was really strict. So all my memories of those early school days are, I was a shell of a person. Sorry to say, but my mom used to joke and say कि तेरे को मैं पगड़ी पहना के St. John's भेज देती हूँ, because my brother was super confident, and how he was at home was how he was at school. But I don't know what it was about the convent school setup that they really tried to, in disciplining us. Perhaps it was an experience I had. I completely lost my confidence in that school. And then it was a crazy experience going to Faridabad right after that into a DPS in a co-ed school. That was a whole new world. So I think the early memories of Chandigarh are a little bit like, just going to a very strict school and always being perfect, and our Everything used to be checked and monitored to the T. But at the same time, the city was beautiful. An unfortunate thing of like being a child of parents who get transferred a lot is you don't really get to stay in touch, right? So I don't have those set of friends that knew me then who still know me now. Occasionally, thanks to social media, I'll stay in touch with a few of them. But my best memories, to answer your question now, finally after all of the rambling, are my birthday parties. So my brother and I share our birthdays.
Oh, wow.
So that used to be an event. Because that's when the two genders would meet, you know, St. John's boys and Sacred Heart girls who would unite in our backyard.
How fascinating.
That used to be a lot
I'm
of
sure
fun.
lots of your classmates were looking forward to the birthdays.
We were too young, but yeah, I think it used to take a solid hour for the two genders to interact because no one was used to it. But those parties were fun and there was a lot of Bollywood music and I was always like super into dancing. So they used to have to drag me off stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ipsitaa, you went to two of the most prestigious schools around the world, Yale and London School of Economics. Lots of youngsters aim at being at these campuses. So, we have two questions here. One, how was your experience? One lesson that you learned from these particular schools. And two, how to navigate this pull between, confusion between whether to follow the passion or to follow the secure job.
Yeah.
How did you navigate that?
I'll answer in two parts because the second one is a whole beast of its own. I got very lucky that I got a chance to attend both of these institutes. We were in DPS Arkipuram when I was in my 10th to 12th grade. And I knew, I think around the 8th or 9th grade that I wanted to go abroad because I was into the social sciences more than I was into natural sciences. Much to my parents' dismay because my father is a mathematician and physicist and my mom's a doctor. But they encouraged it. I was super into economics and psychology both. And so for me, it made sense to attend a liberal arts college in the US, but the condition was very simple. My mom very clearly told both me and my brother that India mein padhna hai, to AIMS, IIT, ya DU ke top colleges. Otherwise, Ivy League with full scholarship. You're not going to the UK, you're not going to Australia, you're not going to Canada. You have to aim for the topmost institute. So that was the pressure. But I think we both worked really hard. My brother went to Columbia and I got into Yale with scholarship. So we got lucky, although I won't deny that there was a lot of slogging involved throughout high school to be able to do that. But those institutes really opened up the world to me. It's not just the tag of an Ivy League institution, it's the people you're attending with and the professors you're learning from. You're learning so much in those 4 years, even when you're in the dining hall and talking to someone who comes from a different part of the world and has so much insight to give you. And I would live those 4 years again and again and again forever if I could, because they were also the most productive days of my life. Actually, now that it's been 6 years since I graduated and I look back, I was double majoring, right? So lots of academic classes, but then I was also in 6 extracurriculars and I would be performing on campus. I started the first Indian classical dance group.
Amazing.
So I think I really pushed myself as well to make the most of those opportunities, and the 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. lifestyle was just very expansive. Is that a word?
Right.
Yeah. For my soul and for my learning. In terms of the one thing I learned there, I really liked the American notion of allowing students to explore their passions. They don't really subject students at the age of 16 to 17, 18 to pursue one thing and to decide so early on, I'm going to be a doctor or I'm going to be an engineer, the way we have to here, because we are following the UK system. But there's something very liberating about the idea of exploring before you settle into one field. So those, obviously you can't keep exploring for 4 years. By the second year, they do expect you to have decided. And I was actually an anomaly in that case, because first day itself on campus, I was like, economics and psychology, double major. And that's what I still tried to attend a bunch of other classes, but that was my first love. But I know people who were chemistry majors who actually graduated with art history, or I know people who were sociology majors who are now doctors. And I think that freedom that gives a student is it's necessary, right? Because you're only a child.
Right.
And
in terms of the second question, I think for me, once again, because I was so passionate about those academic fields, it was an easy choice. And as I was mentioning earlier, I didn't expect myself to ever be an artist full time. I wanted to be a professor of behavioral economics.
Okay.
So I wanted to be in academia. And that path I was pretty set on. So when I did my master's is when my first song came. And that's kind of when the dilemma started. So for me, it started very late. I'd already finished both of my degrees, or I was enrolled in my second degree. But for students who are facing this at a younger age, I think this is not what I'm conditioned to say, but I do know of people who did not attend college, who right after high school are pursuing their passions and are doing exceedingly well thanks to social media. And if you have that zest and you know what you want at that age, and you're extremely driven and passionate, and you have that go-getter mindset, that you will just make it happen, and you're not shy in front of the camera, and you like to put yourself out in the world. I think this is one of the most rewarding times in history.
True.
To be able to be something by the age of 20, 21, or even earlier 17. For me, because as I mentioned, that was my first love, it also became an extended dilemma. Like when I started working in behavioral science as a consultant, and I was in consulting before, like commercial consulting and then public health, I loved the work so much that my dilemma was I love all of it. Like I love being a singer and I love this, and which one will I pursue? And then there was, as to your question about the security, when you have that monthly income coming in, it's so hard to let go of that and say, okay, I'm now going to be an artist, and I don't know what my next project is, and I don't know when my next show is, and I don't know when my next paycheck is coming. So I will say that it's not so glamorous either.
True.
Right? Like we hear about the success stories, but we don't hear about the people who are struggling. And even the success stories are written with people secretly struggling. Like as artists, it's not a safe world at all. So you also need to know your risk appetite. So to those students or youngsters who are watching this who are extremely risk seeking, go for it. Like if you have that I have nothing to lose attitude, go for it. But if you want stability, and you want to be financially independent and not reliant upon your parents or other sources to provide for you, and that's something that'll chip away at your ego, as I am that way. I don't like taking money from anyone. And especially like these institutes do that to you too. Like right after Yale, like all my friends went into extremely high paying jobs, and I took a gap year to come and do music and acting. And I remember I was like, what am I doing with my life? Like my friends are doing this and my brother's making this much, and I'm out here like my parents are supporting me, and I hated that. So if you are that type of a person, it's going to chip away at you, and this takes time to turn financially viable. The arts will take time, because it's a big journey of putting yourself out there, being liked, being accepted, and finding then ways to earn. But at the same time, for some people, it happens overnight on social media as well. So know your risk appetite and know your level of passion. If you think you will regret not doing an academic degree, then go and do an academic degree. Like these tags, I'll be very honest, they're status symbols, right? Especially if you're aiming for these prestigious universities and getting a chance, like if you get in and you have that option, just go, because you're going to have a blast. The friends you're going to make and the professors you're going to learn from, it's nothing short of life-changing. That access to that network is a lifelong resource, putting it very bluntly. And these tags, unfortunately or fortunately, are valuable in society. They elevate no one will take this away from you. That's actually really sorry. I know I'm speaking a lot, but if you're a girl and you're watching this, I will say, people are so quick to look for ways to demean you. I'm sorry to talk about, but it's also
reality.
It's also the message in the song that I'm conveying, right? Life is not easy, and you always have to prove yourself. And if through your academic merits, people take you more seriously and a little scared of you, because they know that you are educated and you are not to be messed with, and you know what you're talking about, and you're smart and you're intelligent, life has been easier in that regard. My counterparts who don't have a college education sometimes have opened up to me and told me that they wish that they had just gone and done it. Kya ho jata 4 saal 3 saal pad lete to. So I'm giving the full perspective. You know, your soul will know the answer. But for me, it was very clear. It was never a question of dropping out. Like when I got First Kiss, there was an option of, I had heard this narrative being imposed of, why don't you just leave Yale? Ho to gaya abhi. You'll become a pop star. And I was in my 3rd year. I only had 1 year to go. But to me, it was very clear, no, I need to secure this. And this was my first dream. I'm not just going to let that go. So know yourself. You will know the answer.
Yeah.
But this is a risky business. It's not always overnight success.
Your first song, First Kiss with Honey Singh. How was that journey?
It was incredible. It all happened really quickly. I had to test my voice. They were the first call I got was about how they're looking for an urban voice, and I didn't know what that meant. But I was like, okay, maybe because I sing in a Western way. And then I actually didn't know if I had gotten the song or not for a few months. But once I got it, it was will it be a playback or will I be in the video situation? But then when it was confirmed that I would be in the video, it was incredible. I learned a lot. That song was definitely one that blew up overnight.
Right.
And they didn't release it for a while. It was with T-Series because there was a lot of visual effects in the video. So at that point, it was also COVID. We shot it August 2020 and I had committed to go to LSE for my master's. And I didn't know if they were releasing it or what would happen once it released. And, you know, the world was under, we were all in a limbo with COVID. So I went to London and they released it, I think within a month of my master's program there. And that was a challenge in and of itself because I was like, oh my God, now it's doing so well. And will I be losing opportunities now that I'm not in India? But yeah, that song really changed my life overnight, I will say. And I'm very grateful to Yo Yo sir. I call him Yo Yo sir, but it's a really funny thing because people either call him Paji or just Honey Singh. But yeah, he saw something in me and he gave me a chance that opened so many doors. So yeah, it was incredible.
And a couple of songs now, about 20. How was that? Different genres, different sounds, any particular ones that hold more significance than others that you can talk about?
Yeah, I think I've released a wide range of soundscapes and, collaborations. I think the first few years were also me not knowing who I was as an artist and following other people's vision of where they could see me fit. And I was young, early 20s. You don't really know yourself. So I tried a Punjabi ballad, which was not me at all, but it did well. I did a couple of empowering songs like Solo Laila, Kadar Na Jaane. But I think around the time I was working in London, I started writing myself. And that's when I discovered a whole other world, because I used to think of myself as just a singer. But then when it transitioned into, I can write my own songs, then that opened up a whole new lane of, okay, what do I want to write about and what do I want to talk about? So now what I'm most excited about is my debut album of, the first song, Burn It Down, has been released as of March. And this album is all about what I want to talk about. Before this, it was a bit of this and a bit of that, but I really like Solo Laila because it's just a reminder for girls to pursue their own dreams and be independent and love themselves before they love anyone else. And I think that's a theme that I've brought into the album as well. There's a song that's going to be a part of my movie that I've just debuted in, which is also very special to me. It's called Chhad Ditta. I didn't expect it to become a part of a movie, but I'm really looking forward to that dropping this year as well.
Your debut movie, Sila it is called, and we believe it is with Umang Kumar.
Yes.
How was landing that role and the shooting part?
Umang sir is an incredible artist himself, as I'm sure you're aware. And it was, so far I've only done stage, musical theatre and acting on stage. This was my first time acting on camera, and I learned a lot about how technical it is, but at the same time I had a lot of fun with my co-actors improvising some of the scenes, and I'm very excited to see where this journey takes me, because once again, I didn't anticipate this vertical to start now. I always wanted to act and I knew I would. I just didn't expect it to come about this way. And I'm grateful to Umang sir for giving me this opportunity.
And how is Mumbai treating you?
I like it now. I hated it initially. I used to dread going to Bombay. But now it's become like another home. And I think part of that is just familiarity and repeated exposure. And another part is like finding your people. So now that I have a few good friends and, found my footing, it's a really fun city. It's very safe. As a woman, you can be roaming around outside at 3 a.m. and no one will bat an eyelid. And I think as a Chandigarh protected girl, that's unheard of.
So this is Ipsitaa. We look forward to more numbers from her and her movie. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.